Have you ever had a bad habit that you just wanted to shake off? Or a new standard you wanted to set for yourself? Or you wanted to break through to the next level in your business? Well, this is the Breakthrough Blueprint, and this is exactly what you need. The reality is, in our life and our businesses, we hit a glass ceiling, we get caught in the same habits, and there's a fundamental limit that's stopping us to go into the next level. In which case, you have three options. The first is you stay where you are. You get sick and tired of it, bored and disengaged, and you don't actually make any progress. The second is you do make progress, but it's gradual, it's organic, and it takes months or years to actually get where you want to get to. Or the third is you set up a strategy, you build a plan, and then you break through to the next level in one sitting in 28 days, and this is the Breakthrough Blueprint. In this podcast, I'm going to take you through the Breakthrough Blueprint that I have used many times in my life to take me to the next level. And having an understanding of how this works and actually committing to putting it in practice will enable you to take this to the next step and avoid the death by 1,000 cuts. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the 6 steps of the Breakthrough Blueprint. And this really is to take you to the next level. This could be weight loss. It could be business growth. It could be leadership, management, investment, or doing bigger deals. What we want to do is we want to break you through to that next level, and we want to get it done in a very narrow space of time. So what we're going to do is first off think about what do you want to do. And the reality is there's probably loads of different things you want to do. You want to be fitter, you want to be faster, you want to be healthier, you want to be richer, you want to have more time, you want to have less work, less problems, all of these things. The reality is when we're going to breaking through is actually a culmination of lots of different things to achieve one primary objective. And whilst there's lots of different things you might want to do, it all comes down to one top of a mountain. And this might be that actually, you want to lose weight, you want to look better, you want to feel more confident, you want to reduce your anxiety. But ultimately, the top of the mountain is probably your general fitness. Or you're not enjoying your job anymore, your business is frustrating you, you've not grown for a couple of years, and you want to take it to the next level. The likelihood is you probably need to level up. All of these things come together to create a key strategic move. And the breakthrough is the process we use to get us up to that level. When you're going to break through, you're going to leave behind a lot of the things that you've believed to be true until now. And the things that have got you where you are actually stopping, getting you to the next level. And a lot of the things you've had to do to get to this point have made you rewire your brain. And your brain is now wired in a way that you believe certain things, how many hours you work, the jobs that you must do, the availability that you must have for your business or your team. And these have got you to where you are as a leader, a manager, a founder, or a managing director. But actually now we need to break through, and every level has another devil. And the things that got us to where we are as strengths have now become limiting beliefs, have become weaknesses, and have actually stopped us from going to the next level. So what we've got to do is we've got to look at the next level we've got to look at. Whilst there's loads of things we want to achieve, make the commitment as to what is the breakthrough we actually want to make, and have one plan and one process to get us there. So we've got the place we want to get to. A breakthrough means leaving a lot of old things behind, and it also means breaking a lot of current habits and behaviours that have got you to where you are. So we're going to actually change those through this process. Now, as entrepreneurs, we tend to like novelty, we tend to like change. As high performers, we're quite often looking for the secret solution or the sort of elusive, magical destination we're going to arrive at, and we're always on to the next thing. What we need to make sure we do is we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, we don't burn any bridges, we don't start abdicating rather than delegating, and we go into this strategically, because with drastic change, you need to make drastic decisions. And we want to make sure that they're good for the business and good for the team and good for you, not short-sighted, not very well considered, and end up actually being damaging. So what we need to do is consider these things and start to decide what's actually required to get to the next, or first decide what the next level is. What is that? And you'll normally find if it's a new level of fitness, it's a new fitness plan. If it's a new level of business, it's probably by definition a certain type of term. So you might be going from working in the business to on it. You might be going from a general manager to managing director. You might go from managing director to CEO, CEO to chairman. try and sort of understand where you're going. And then what we want to do is we want to research and understand what's actually required to break through. So if you've been out of shape for the last 5 years or 10 years, and your habits have been around not eating all day and then stuffing your face in the evening, or perhaps you graze all day, or perhaps you have 3 big unhealthy meals, somebody's got the blueprint of what you need to break through, and you really need to understand what that is, because there's only one thing worse than working hard to break through. And that's actually working hard at doing the wrong thing. So if you think that getting fit means not eating anything at all and dropping your calories, and actually that puts your body into hibernation, it slows your metabolism and actually increases your fat storage and reduces your muscle mass, the whole thing's an absolute disaster. You don't know what you don't know. We want to find that blueprint, research what's required, define what the next level looks like, and then be really clear strategically on how we're going to get there. You know, what are the things we need to do to break through to that next level? And when we get to that next level, what is our new standard going to be? And what we do is we create a plan of what we think it's going to be. We then go and seek counsel and get feedback from other people who we know, like, and trust, ideally mentors and coaches who've already done it, and get that plan in place. So 1, we know it's actually right, before 2, we actually go and execute, refine it, formalize it, and then that becomes the plan. And if you're going to step change, it's quite likely to get worse before it gets better. So if you're going to give up smoking, in 6 months, you're going to feel incredible. But in 6 days, you're probably going to be irritable and you're going to be eating more, and you might even feel worse. You might get ill before you get better. Like, to step change and break through, things can get worse before they can get better. In order to go to the next level, what you can often find is that as you break these habits and these scripts that you run in your head, things can actually get harder before they get easier, which might sound crazy. Let's say you want to do less work in the business and you recruit a team and you're going to delegate to your team, which sounds incredible. And that's an example of breaking through. It could get harder before it gets easier, because you could be sitting there, you've got the team, and now you feel like you need to interfere. You feel nervous about delegating. Perhaps you don't delegate correctly and you actually abdicate. Like, things could be harder or more difficult before they actually get easier. And what we've got to do is basically understand what they are, appreciate we're going to go into this difficult period where it gets harder before it gets easier, but then actually commit to 28 days of breaking through. And what I mean by this is, so here's 2 examples. One is the Bat Phone Blueprint, which I've shared previously. If you go to the Blueprint podcast, listen to the Bat Phone Blueprint. This is about having a work phone. When I used to have just one phone, I was on the phone 7 days a week, in the mornings, in the evening, 5 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock at night, messaging team members, messaging clients. And I felt like I needed to be available all day, every day for everybody. And the reality is that would have been the case initially as a leader, as a mentor, as a coach. There's a period where all those things are required. But then it also gets to a period where it prevents you from moving to the next level, and it actually detracts from the value you can add because you're too busy, and it reduces your motivation to do those things because you're tired, the novelty's worn off. I knew that I didn't want to be on my work phone in the evenings and weekends. When I decided to break through and have a work phone and a business phone, if I didn't put a plan in place to break through to the next level, create a plan, create a strategy, and then commit to 28 days for doing it and breaking through, yes, the 4 weeks were hard, but then the 4 decades after are easy. If I didn't do that, the likelihood is either I would never break through at all and just end up with 2 phones all day, every day, or even worse, it would take 2 years. I would be dragging it, kicking and screaming, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and never really get where I want to. With the Bat Phone Blueprint, having a work phone, I created a strategy, created a plan, created a blueprint, did all the things I've just talked to you about. And then if you listen to that podcast, on one day I decided to start breaking through. And then the first 2 weeks were absolute nightmares. I felt anxious, I felt uncomfortable, I felt awkward. My weekend was ruined because I felt like the world must be ending on my work phone because it's turned off. But after a period of 2 weeks where the world didn't end, and then the next 2 weeks where everything was actually okay, And then 4 weeks and 4 months later, it's just the new standard. I've broken through. I've got rid of those habits. I've step changed and I've never gone back. Yes, we can start to see bad habits creep in, but you nip them in the bud. You've broken through, and that's what's required to step change. We set this 28 days out, and for that 28 days, going to the gym is going to be hard work. Not eating cookies and crisps for breakfast is going to be difficult. Not using your WhatsApp or your inbox or your email before 10 a.m. or even at all, so you can break through, is going to feel very hard. But when a day turns into a week, and a week turns into a fortnight, and a fortnight turns into a month, very quickly it becomes what we call the new standard. And where previously the idea of working a 5-hour day, which is what your new standard is, was really uncomfortable and it felt bad and it was against your work ethic, and you felt like you were restless when you weren't working. All of a sudden, where previously a 12-hour day was the normal, and now it's going to be a 5-hour day or an 7-hour day. Once you've broken through, that new standard is set. And actually, when that new standard is set, you can't believe that you used to go on your work phone at the weekend. You can't believe you used to spend your evening responding to WhatsApp messages to clients and to team members. That new standard gets set. And that's what we mean by breaking through. It's setting these things, pushing through, making it harder before it gets easier, more difficult before it becomes better, but getting it out of the way quickly, ripping the plaster off rather than doing it bit by bit by bit. The reality is, a lot of this stuff is in your head. A lot of the stuff is habits that were good habits and then became bad habits and now need to be replaced with good habits. Leveling up is rewiring your brain. It's completely changing what you do, and it's doing it quickly. So at the minute, I'm doing a breakthrough for the chairman level. Many of you that have listened to me for years will understand for the last 4 or 5 years, I've sort of got stuck at this level, and I've done a lot of soul searching, a lot of seeking. I tried to retire and that was a disaster. I came back last year and went absolutely crazy with work again, and it burnt me out, and it hasn't really worked. I've got sick of hearing myself say it because for 4 years I've dragged it out trying to figure out where I'm going. Now I'm really clear that the breakthrough is to the chairman level. You know, I've been delaying the inevitable, or perhaps I wasn't ready to break through. There was things I needed to do. There was money I needed to make. But now the reality of breaking through is not an option. I have to do it. I need to do it. Like, that is, the timing is now right for me to do it. And in a very concentrated period of time, which has been about 12 weeks of prep and putting things in place, and then 28-day process of breaking through mentally, which means not being available all day, every day on WhatsApp, only go in there once or twice a day. And things like not having any executive roles in the business. You know, you can't just turn that on and off overnight. Recruiting new senior managers, senior leadership teams, directors to go into the businesses. All of this stuff is required strategically, but then emotionally breaking through, it's just 28 days of going from being on WhatsApp all day, every day, to only going in once or twice a day. A lifetime of working 7 days a week, 18-hour days at peak time, to going down to just having whatever you decide, 5 hours, 8 hours working time a day, tracking your time every day, resetting the bar, restructuring those habits. The aim of the game is you do the work, get the groundwork done, and then in a 28-day period, you break through, break the habits. The reality is nobody else cares. It's all in your head. You've wired your brain in a way you think the world is going to end when you start to do X, Y, and Z. The reality is nobody else cares. Nobody else is thinking that. Nobody else is worrying about it. And in the same way that I used to think I needed to be on my work phone in the evening and weekends, and then I broke through, and now the idea of doing that is absolutely alien to me. You know, the idea of having a work phone off for a week or 2 weeks is very normal to me because that's just how I work now. That's the reality of breaking through. It's going to be hard. It's going to get harder before it gets better. But whatever you want to break through on, whether it's your work ethic, your health and fitness, the amount of hours you do work, the amount of hours you don't work, your productivity, it's all about breaking through. Set a strategy, build a plan, dial it down into a very small window, and then break through. And I guarantee you'll never look back. The alternative is you never go to the next level, or it's death by 1,000 cuts, and that's no good for anybody. For a great example of this, go back and listen to the Batphone Blueprint on the Blueprint podcast. Otherwise, have a think about what you need to level up on. Have a think about how you want to break through, and don't waste the next 6 weeks, 6 months, or 6 years of your life treading water and being unhappy. Build the strategy, build the blueprint, break through to the next level. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next podcast.